So recently me and a friend have been talking about setting up a Mario 64 online game for me and some of his friends to play. Also, some people have been asking me, how do you set up this Mario 64 online? So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to go over how to set up the online game. I'm also going to teach you how you can set up your own server for your friends to join, and I'm also going to show you how to join your friends' servers. To start off with, you're going to want to go to the first link in the description to get to the GitHub page, or you can click the second link in the description for a direct download for the latest version. Now once you're on the GitHub page, you're going to want to press net plus 64 win32x64 and you're going to want to download it. Then you're going to want to use WinRAR to extract both of the folders in the Net64 Plus to your PC. Once you've extracted it, you should have two folders, one called Client and one called Emulator. Now Emulator is literally Emulator. It stores the emulator that you're going to use for the Mario 64 Online, and Client is what you're going to want to click on first. And scroll all the way down till you find Net64 Plus application. Once that is loaded, you're then going to want to open the emulator folder and go down to Project 64. So there's a few things that you need to sort out before you actually start playing, and that is, first you're going to want to set up a controller with Project 64. Now I've already done mine with my Switch Pro control. Once you're on Net64, if you go onto the FAQ, you're going to want to make sure that all of your Project 64 settings look like this. So you go over to Options, Settings, and then if you go to Options, you're going to want to not pause emulation when window is not active, and you're going to want to not hide advanced settings. You're also going to want to have a clean ROM for Super Mario 64. Now sadly I can't tell you how to get one of these, and I can't put a link to it in the description purely because of copyright purposes, but I'm sure if you look somewhere you can find them. Now that you've loaded up the game, you're going to want to go to Settings again and go to Configuration. What your settings should look like are 16 megabytes, and you're going to want to change the counter factor to 1 so they look like they do on Net64 Plus. Alright, before we get started, you're going to want to click these little tools up here, and that is where you will set your username and your character that you want to play as. Now obviously you can turn on in-game chat view, where you will literally see the chat in-game. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now that you've got all the settings right, you're going to want to click Emulator, and it will scan your PC for the emulators you're running, and you'll have to have the game running before you can select it. And here we go. It is now browsing for servers, but it can't fetch a server list. That is because Nintendo have sent these people a DMCA. But I'm now going to show you how you can set up your own server. If you click this little PC button up here, you will be taken to this page. Now, don't worry, it does look a bit daunting at first, but we're going to get through this. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to press Windows and then type CMD, and it will open a command prompt. Now what you're going to want to type is ipconfig. Now it is very important that you don't share your IP with anyone unless you are connecting with them, so I'm going to hide mine. Now if you're connected via Ethernet adapter, then it will be the first paragraph after you've typed ipconfig. Now obviously I'm going to hide mine for personal reasons, but what you're going to do is you're going to take note of the IP next to IPv4 address and the one at the bottom underneath default gateway. Now don't worry about the letters and numbers, you'll just want the numbers at the bottom here. Now that you've done that, you're going to want to type in the bottom IP address, the default gateway one, into your browser, and it should take you to a page. Depending on who your router is with, it will look slightly different, but it's near enough the same sort of thing. Now you want to go on Advanced Settings and Firewall. Now it will ask for an admin password, but that can be found with the router connection settings on the back of your router. From here you're going to want to select the device that your PC has the IP address. Now mine is called Josh's PC, so you're going to want to add that. So for both of these you're going to want to type around 10 to 60,000. So you're obviously going to want to give it a name and then add and then save. So once you've done that, you're going to want to head back to Net64 Plus. What we're going to do is we're going to create our new server. So you can put a description of any. Now in port I put a random number between 10 and 60,000, which is what we set for the internet port. I just put 7777, and if you want a private lobby, then you'll have to put a password so people can't join. And then hit create. So now that you've made a server, you're going to want to connect to it. So for IP address, you're going to put the IP of your PC. Now this will be the first one that you took from the command prompt. So now that you have the IP of your PC put in there, you will then type in the port and click connect. Now obviously it's protected by a password. There we go. So now that I am in, other people can now join. So if you're just joining someone else's server, it's basically the same process. You're going to want to load your game. And then you're going to want to press start. Select an emulator. Now what I forgot to mention when you were setting up the server, you do have to be on the file select screen, otherwise it will not connect. And then to join someone else's server, you will need to have their PC IP address if they've set up to host the server. And then you'll type in the password, which they will have to share with you, and then that is it. And if you start a new game, if you all start in the same file, once you've got past the cutscene, you should all jump into the same world. Now obviously I can't demonstrate that because I only have one PC. But if you've done it alright, if you followed every step in this tutorial, then it should work. So that was just a little tutorial of how to set up the Super Mario 64 online. Those of you that didn't know how to set this up before, I hope that this has helped you, because obviously I needed a tutorial to help me. It was a lot of hassle to set it up, but yeah, hopefully you've done it right. If you have any other questions about the tutorial, or there is something that you don't understand, please feel free to put in the comments below and I'll hopefully get back to you with an answer. Until then, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.